Last week's short vlog took us to Annapolis where we ended up in the UR. This week, we leave the Chesapeake Bay behind and catch amazing wind on the way out. We decide if we want to keep our original route offshore or take the ICW because of the uncertain weather rounding CapeHatteras. Join us as we make that decision. Hey, I'm Ashley and this is my husband Colin. At the start of this year, we traded in our camper van and bought a 1991 50-foot sailboat. Colin has a ton of sailing experience, but me, not so much. Our plan is to update our boat and start our adventure around the world. Come along with us as we experience the lows and the highs of sailing.
Another super bright and early morning. It's almost 6 o'clock. We are saying goodbye to Annapolis. We have 76 miles to go today. Right now we're getting in around 5. We'll see how that is. It's still very early in the day. We're motor sailing right now. We're about to stop the motor actually because the wind's picking up to 15. So yeah, and we should make some really good time down the bay towards the Atlantic. The wind's supposed to be up to 15 or so tonight, this afternoon. So we got a couple of sheltered anchorages that we have picked out. We'll see how much time we make. Ashley's taking her morning nap because it's still pretty early for her, but it's a lot of fun for me. It got a little dicey there with the gust that we're getting. We're getting into the 20s, so we have reefed the main and reefed the jib. The jib's probably like a 1 or 2. The main's at the first position. We're now very comfortable. Again, autopilot can keep up with the wind and it trying to right itself, or the boat trying to right itself into the wind. So we're still making good time. We're averaging about 7.5, 8 knots right now. We have 68 miles to go. Just cruising along. Much better than the Delaware Bay with the same kind of wind because it's flat here, which is nice. We have taken down the main completely because the second reef point, the line's not long enough, and with the swells, it's just not feasible to get out there and try to clip it on or tie it on to the boom while we're out. Ashley's officially awake, and we're cruising with just the Genoa up, going about 8 knots over the water and 7 knots with GPS. We got an incoming tide right now, but we're still making really good time. We got about 9 hours left or so and 61 miles. So we're coming up to what we did not know existed, which is a semi-sunken old target ship that the military put here back in the 60s as practice, because we're in a military testing ground right now. It has long since been retired as a target ship, but it's still very visible from the Chesapeake Bay and recently broke into 2 pieces. But here's a picture of what it looks like as one solid piece and kind of what it looks like when you're passing it close by. But it's a little eerie because you can see it and it just looks like a ship at anchor, and then you realize that it's sitting in about 2 feet of water, and it is just an eerie shipwreck that I didn't expect to come across, or we didn't expect to come across when we're making our way down the Chesapeake. We are about 2.5 hours out of our anchorage. We got 16. Just had a crab pot behind us that I did not see. We're in the middle of the channel, so it shouldn't be out here. Anyway, we are about 16 miles out of our anchorage. We're now crossing what is behind us is the entrance to the Potomac River, and with that the wind is now coming at our beam and went up to about 17 knots from 15, where it was really comfortable. So we reefed the Genoa a little bit more, and we're still making good ground. It's just making it comfortable for us. Yeah, and the waves are now coming from on the beam as well, so we're getting a lot. They're not coming from the back anymore, so it's getting a little bit rolly here, but still perfectly comfortable. Boat's handling it well. Just cruising along at about 7 knots, 8 knots over the water. Just got a lot of current we're fighting right now.
To go this way to go all the way around them and then go back into the cove.
But they do show up on radar, which is nice. You can see there's one right there and the big one. And then, yeah, there's another one over here. So it's nice, but I would not want to be coming in here at night, going off radar, seeing where these fish traps are.
So on this side, we have the crab pods that we have to watch out for. Get one of those stuck around our propeller and we're out of luck. And on this side is the fish traps. See them? All right there. These things can really screw us over. There's a better view of the fish traps. Look at that transition. Okay. Another early morning. Hopefully this is our last morning on the Chesapeake.
It will be.
Oh, Colin says it will be.
It will be. After today, we'll be in Norfolk, Virginia, and then possibly doing the ICW. We gotta,
Stop fixing your hair.
we gotta go measure our mast height again. We should be 64 feet, which means technically we can do the ICW, but we're gonna measure today everything, water up to double check.
It's gonna be really close. The bridges are 64. It is the lowest.
It's gonna be close, but right now we don't have the time frame or the window to go around Hatteras. So that's kind of...
And we kind of just don't want to do that. We have had a really rough start from owning this sailboat for 1 week. We've been thrown into the deep end. I think we can skip CapeHatteras.
Well, also the weather window. The next weather window is like Sunday.
Yeah.
It's Monday right now, and
we need a 3-day weekend.
We want to take 3 days to do that, so we just don't have the time. As predicted, it's 10 o'clock now, and there is not a single bit of wind out here. It's about 4, which is not enough to sail and make any sort of time, especially when the current starts to switch. So we are currently motoring. We had the jib Genoa up, and we just put it away because it was just flapping all over the place. So we have about 3 hours to go till we're in Norfolk, where we're making a big decision whether or not we're going to go out around Hatteras or go in the ICW. The weather window for the ICW is good. The weather window for Hatteras is not. So and our schedule in general, we can't wait around here for 2 weeks to wait for a good weather window for Hatteras, because the next week doesn't look great. So I'm gonna run into town and grab a 100-foot tape measure and reconfirm our mast height, so I know exactly what it is, and that will be the determination whether or not we wait, or if, because the sound should be pretty low right now, we're able to actually do the ICW. We believe that the mast height is 63.5, 64 with an antenna up there, but we're gonna confirm that later this afternoon in 3 or 4 hours when we get into Norfolk. This Canadian boat that's headed north back to Canada for the summer. We're still trying to decide on the ICW. They are a 64-foot mast height. Their antenna touched the top and bent a little, and they ripped off an anemometer, but they did not take it off. We got to go measure again, but if we're gonna go measure, we should be 63.5 and then 64.5 with all the stuff up there. So if that is true, we're probably gonna do it, and do it when the tide is low and the wind is blowing the water out of the sound there.
Kind of sounds like I'm gonna have to go up top and remove some things though, right?
Yep.
I don't want to do that.
Is it worth $400?
Thing is, I can get up there, but I don't know if I can take it down. I'll just unscrew it and let it hang.
It's also brand new.
Yeah.
So it should all be unscrewed pretty easy. We have made the decision. We're gonna do the ICW. From my calculations, we're sitting at about 64 feet 3 inches right now.
The instruments, right?
With the instruments and stuff at the top. So Ashley's gonna go up and remove everything right now, and
I'm going to attempt to remove everything.
Attempt to remove it. The most important thing that we care about is the wind transducer, because it's the most expensive part, and the newest up there. So also she's gonna remeasure from the very, very top down, and then we're gonna measure to the water to see truly what it is, because this was just me running it up the main halyard and then adding a foot to it for the instruments. So Ashley's gonna head up and remove this stuff. It's not that windy right now, which is good. We're in a very calm anchorage right outside of Fort Monroe, which is also equally as nice. Pretty nice here. Very muddy bottom. But yeah, so Ashley's gonna head up now. I'm gonna get her in the bosun's chair and then get the security line on her, and she's gonna head up.
the top. Got the most important thing. Have to hold on to it though, because the pockets are squished. Cannot reach the one direction one. And the antenna is pretty caked on. Okay, I'm gonna go down now because this is not fun in the wind.
Mission accomplished. The most important part, brand new. So don't want to lose that.
Oh. Now I just have to go back and put it on later.
Yeah, once we're in the Pocono Sound or something, I can't remember what it's called, but inside the Outer Banks, we're gonna put it back on because we're gonna be sailing past that point. Maybe we'll wait till Beaufort because there's one more bridge and then we definitely won't have any bridges after that. So we'll see. We'll see what Ashley's up to.